And they're looking for something that, to be honest, Strappers haven't had in the last several years. A 3-game winning streak. Oh, my, and the pass is complete. And that is Jesse Zalk, and he is going to score 61 yards.
Closer. Close-ups. Ready to cut the, see, now 1, it's just going to be a jump cut. Ready to cut the 3? Get the 3? Okay, 1, not that close, sorry. All right, ready, replay? Ready. Roll it and bring it in. Roll it. Can you turn down that monitor? Ready to come out to 1? And speed it up or something, Jan. Come out to 1. Hose it. Come out to 1. Bring it in the graphic.
It started when I was teaching at the Communications Academy, and I was teaching 3 hours a day, and then I had another kind of somewhat ambiguous duties of other things that I was being, and as I focused that in, one was to try to generate more programming for the Vancouver School District. And I thought, well, what about sports? Well, you know, because sports is such a great interest to a lot of people, and with the local cable company used to do local sports, high school sports, and they did football and they did basketball, I think, were the sports that they did. And they were gone. We're now entering our 6th season of just doing sports, so it's our 8th season of doing athletic events. I haven't seen many high school sports productions that look like what we're producing. I think I'm confident that we are doing something that looks better than your typical, you know, here's a camera panning left and right. I mean, there's a lot of elements in there. The joy of the game and the experience and being there and trying to capture that too, of the energy and seeing the kids and they're, you know, celebrating high school athletics when it hasn't gotten too complicated, that it should be that the kids are out there just for fun.
We roll in around noon, 1, depending on how we feel like doing it. We talked about it, you know. Takes, I'd say, you know, 6 hours of setup, just about.
What it takes is I take my lunch and prep, and I go and get the truck, and I fire it up, and I drive it down there, back it down that's around noon, which, you know, when you're doing a sporting event too, it's what can go wrong will go wrong. You know, so you always want to be set up and have everything ready to go and still have 3 hours or something so that if something doesn't go right, you have time to correct it and fix it, so.
Yeah, you know, there's a little tech into it, a little MacGyvering, you know. And shucking and bucking, I mean, you know, you work up a little sweat, it's fun. Yeah.
Because the truck is just a whole bunch of cases all stuffed in the truck, as opposed to a mobile production truck where you might have most of your control room already built. So you have to offload pretty much everything out of the truck.
This one I think I might use the lift. Go ahead and raise it up.
And then build your control room, start making your cable runs.
And then, you know, give me as much as you can of this, so make sure you have enough to get to the CCU.
You know, stringing and snaking out to your camera positions. We have 4 different camera positions.
Yeah. And it's not really the conventional way to cover football, but it's how we've been doing it. But yeah, so we have game up in the booth, and then you can kind of see where that cable is down there, but there's basically on the 25-yard lines are a camera there and a camera there. And so they're the, you know, tight ISO replay looks. And then we have a handheld camera down in the field, and that's this cable that I'm running now. We just kind of fly it. So I have to rig up a little pole to fly the cable over the crowd.
it's like, oh, this is ridiculous trying to string the cable all the way down and then down the thing, and then we didn't have enough footage. Well, what if we flew it? Well, okay, how are we going to do it? Well, it's going to get in the way. Well, what do we need? And then we went and found this pole and stuck it. Oh, okay, now it's pulling. So, oh, we need some duct tape. And, you know, as you do it, or we're stringing up cable, oh, how are we going to get it up there? Well, we'll go to a plumbing place and we'll buy a couple of pieces and stick them together, and that'll hold and make that work.
This is the MacGyvering part. A lot of it is that, just sort of, you know, using, like you said, the tools in hand and whatever you have, trying to make stuff, you know, and that's what's kind of fun about it, you know, is well, how can we do it, you know, with what we have?
Well, necessity is the mother of invention. You know, you look at how you do something, and you're always trying to figure out, well, how can I make it better? And sometimes it's different people that bring it in. You know, Jann making his own antenna, you know, because he decided he really wanted to have the referee have a microphone.
One of the ideas I came up with is we're going to mic the referee so that when he makes a call, you know, we'll be able to hear it. We have a little wireless mic on him, but sometimes the signal gets a bit weak, and so that we're just going to put right up in the announce booth and point it right at the field. Be able to home run that bad boy right in the front.
You know, that's the thing. If the mic cuts out, then it's sort of like. So I think we've resolved that issue with Jann's little homemade antenna.
There we go.
You have to build your booth where your color and play-by-play announcers are going to be.
So test 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, I hear myself. So then I'll put this one on and listen. I'm talking to this one, see I can hear myself now. You know, test 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, so I can hear myself here.
So control room gets all built.
You gotta patch the whole control room, and that, you know, is just that's a task in itself, I would say.
When we cut here on the truck setup, an optimistic estimate would be about 2 hours, but I'm still learning about kind of the engineering aspect of this, so I would say about 3. I try to triple check it before I show it to anyone else, but I've been doing this for a couple of years, and even I get confused.
You have to solve those problems and things, which can be frustrating at the time, but it can also be rewarding. You know, we have a real product, we have a real deadline. I mean, the whistle's going to blow and the game is going to start.
Ready to keep out? Ready to bring up mics? Ready? Come up on camera 1, fade in. Ready to bring in that opening graphic? Fade up to 1. Go ahead. Go ahead. Up, do it again.
Go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Bring in graphic.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another exciting sports presentation. The Fort Vancouver Trappers, Prairie High School, the Falcons, in Greater St. Helens AAA football action, and it is, of course, the Trappers' homecoming. And they want to avenge last year's loss in the homecoming clash.
Okay, ready to take out graphic? Take out graphic. Ready to take to 3? Ready to take out graphic? Take out graphic. Ready to cut to 1? 1, can you get your game framing now? 1, zoom in. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. I thought you remembered how to do it. Game frame, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. I don't need any of that sidewalk. There you go. Ready to cut to 1? Cut to 1.
During the run, we had holding on the offense.
Just try to break them psychologically if you can.
And it almost always goes better than it seems like it's going to. You know, in the middle of, like, you know, there's always moments where you're going, okay, why am I doing this? This is insane. But when you finally stop and kind of look at it and watch the game again, you kind of, oh, okay, didn't look as bad as wasn't as big a train wreck as we thought it would.
We pretty much fly by the seat of our pants right at the beginning when we, you know, we seem like we're not prepared, I would say, when we're starting off, but somehow it meshes well together, and we just put on a production and get something out. Ready to cut the 2? 2 slide. Ready to cut the 1? Ready to cut the 3? Cut the 3. Focus. Watch your focus. 3. Ready to cut the 1? Cut the 1. What? Can't hear it. 1. You are not doing very well. zoom in and follow the ball. You're zooming out and you're panning left, and you need to be panning right. Ready to cut the three? Cut the three? Okay, thank you. Ready to cut the two? Cut the two?
You want to see that?
What was it? I didn't pay attention to the play. Yeah, ready to roll it?
Ready.
Remember how to do it? Now wipe. You're on camera too, so wipe two. Ready to roll it?
Ready.
And recall and bring it in. Roll it. Ready to come out to one, so undercut one. Ooh. The graphics on top.
You can take it
Ready
out.
to come out to one. Slide out the one. Ready to cut the two. Cut the two. Ready to cut the one. Cut the one. Bring in banner with that. Yep. Bring it in. Recall. Nope. Recall. Yep. Now you got to do it again. Okay. One. Zoom in as the play develops.
It's very much like we're our own team, and you know, if someone screws up, it kind of affects the whole show, thus the whole team. So when we're together, you know, it is that team sort of thing. Like, hey, we all need to, you know, encourage each other and help each other.
Considering we're doing it with no budget, with volunteers, and almost everyone are people that we've trained that have learned, and knowing, I guess, that some of these kids can go on and get other work potentially, and some of them have.
So, you know, I'll never forget the first time I had a camera meeting. I said, okay, who knows anything about football? No one raises their hand. You know, who knows, you know, what a quarterback is? No one raises their hand. It's like, uh-oh, it's gonna be a long game.
I look forward, great action, great close-ups. My favorite part is the atmosphere and the crowd and the atmosphere and the game.
Very difficult for the linebackers and the linemen to know what's happening sometimes. Lots of ball fakes from the quarterback. And
having our commentators be staff, they know the kids, and to tell some of those little stories. I had, you know, that person such and such in my social studies class, or I worked with them, and, you know, tell those little stories in with the story of the game itself.
that is Dakota Zimmerman, another one of my students. He did have some nice penetration. He's a big kid.
How's he as a student?
Not bad, not bad. Good. And it was really funny, of course, is I'm looking at kids that I saw earlier today in class. Sometimes even had to discipline them earlier today in class. And they also play back the games during lunchtime on the big screen in the cafeteria. And you know, sometimes they turn up, they crank the volume up a little bit, and the kids hear that voice and they wonder, who is that guy? He sounds familiar, because they don't show me, you know, and that's okay. I don't want them to show me. But I mean, you know, so they come up to me, are you the guy? Is that you? So yeah, it's fun though.
Mr. Berhow will go out and put this thing up at lunch and during breakfast, and there will be 100 kids hanging around, and it absolutely encapsulates the kids. I mean, they just stand there and watch the games. They feel like it's professional. It takes everything I can to get them to go to class, which is a good thing, and we have to turn it off. I mean, they just absolutely love to see their, you know, see themselves on TV.
And I think it gives kids who aren't in athletics a chance to sort of be a part of the whole school thing. I know that the kids that do work on the sports crew, you know, I think they get props from, you know, the kids who said, hey, you know, you guys did a good job on that show or basketball game or football game or whatever it was.
The fact that they're willing to give up their free time on a Friday night to come support us and film our games is really cool.
I do think that our community does want local television, you know, and so when they're scanning through the channels and they see, oh, these are people I know, this is my community, this is my neighborhood, we know these schools, we know these kids, and they'll watch. I think sometimes people get removed from what high school's like, so, oh, look at those kids, and they're having fun, and they're not being obnoxious, and they're not being rude, and they're supporting, and they have school spirit. It kind of reminds people of maybe when they were in school, and that teenagers haven't changed that much from when we were in school or when our parents were in school. You know, so I think you get to capture a little bit of that.
So you heard his voice but didn't see it?